Welcome everyone to How to Become a Leader in the Trump Resistance, Episode 3, Digital Hubs Using Discord to Cultivate a Community. When we designed this training, we intentionally put Discord up front because we have found very quickly that Discord is a fantastic place to build community online and to extend communities that exist offline into a fun space where you can continue the work of lawful nonviolent civil resistance. We're very lucky to have a number of Discord users as well as a couple of Discord experts here tonight. So why don't we get started? The Resist Trump campaign is a campaign whose vision is a future without Trump and his enablers in power. Our mission is lawful, nonviolent, civil resistance to Trump and his enablers. Our values are collaboration, integrity, nonpartisanship, and professionalism. If you would like to know more about the Resist Trump campaign, I'll share a couple of links in the chat now. This first one that I've just shared is our orientation guide that can give you some background information on how we operate and where we intend to go. What I'm sharing now is our orientation event that takes place every Sunday night at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. My name is Nevin Kamath. I am the director and one of the founders of the Resist Trump campaign. I'm going to be a moderator tonight. I'm also going to allow my co-moderator, Tracy, to introduce herself.
Hello, I am Tracy, and I will also be hanging out here tonight. I will be a help to facilitate this fabulous evening.
Thanks, Tracy. I also want to recognize a couple of volunteers who are going to help us facilitate breakout rooms tonight. First, Michael W., who is, not Michael W. First, Mike I., who is going to be helping us as a breakout room facilitator. And we have a number of guests here tonight who I'll be introducing shortly, and we'll get the chance to introduce themselves. But everyone on stage will be participating in this webinar in some way, shape, or form. So I just want to thank them in advance and thank them for their participation. Next, I want to share with you the First Amendment. Many of you may already know this well, but I think it's worth using at the top of discussions like this to help get people comfortable that what we're doing isn't just permitted, it is demanded by our Constitution, right? Our Constitution states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. I imagine that many of you tonight have a couple of grievances, especially today, after what has happened with the BBB, as it's sometimes referenced. We want to give you an outlet for those grievances that is firmly grounded in the First Amendment by helping you exercise your right to peaceably assemble and exercise freedom of speech. That's what we're doing here tonight. We are very fortunate that our forefathers, if we may call them that these days, our forefathers in the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s helped develop the very protections that we're using today. And there's a foundation that describes that development of First Amendment rights and its connection with nonviolent civil resistance in an article that I just linked in the chat, and that will link in the YouTube description that we share later. Great. So what are we doing and where are we and where have we come? So we are doing a series, as you know, called How to Become a Leader in the Trump Resistance. This series has 3 levels or modules that range between level 1, where the final assignment of level 1 is to complete or really to hold a get together with people you know or people you don't know, or maybe something in between, using the Resist Trump banner and infrastructure. When I say banner, I mean figuratively, and infrastructure on Mobilize. Every one of these modules has an assignment that it concludes with. And the first assignment, which is hosting a get together, we're asking folks who are doing this course, either who are here tonight or who are following along on the YouTubes and part of the classroom in other ways, to do that get together, right? To hold a get together by July 20th, and then to submit, if you're participating in the Google Classroom, which is optional, to submit a reflection on how that get together went by July 22nd. So you've got about 3 weeks or so, maybe 2.5 weeks, to hold a get together called something like Let's Host a Resist Trump Get Together. If you click on the link that I've just put in the chat, that is available on our Mobilize platform and on the website, you'll find that it'll take you to this page here that I'll show in just a moment. It says host a Resist Trump get together. And this is all messaging for you once you click that link that's in the chat. You can also choose from this essentially template what type of event you want to run, what the photo is, and we set that photo. You can alter the description if you want, or adjust it or edit it, refine it, make it publicly or privately visible, hold it in person. We do really strongly encourage you to hold it in person, because there's really nothing like meeting people in person as an organizer. And that I believe is a really critical skill that people should try and develop. And then also, the date and time, as well as other aspects of the event that you can construct. Then you just click host this event. It goes to us. Once we review it, we'll approve it most likely. And then the event will be up on Mobilize. It'll be promoted to people in your area who are attending related events. And it's a great way to get started as a leader in the Trump resistance. And we need you to do stuff like this, to get people going, activated, and included, so that we can build a successful movement of lawful nonviolent civil resistance. I will tell you that a few people have already done this assignment. Several people who are actually here tonight have already submitted, scheduled, and even held events. So do keep in mind that that date is coming up. If you want to meet that date, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can. And then remember a couple of things that, as I mentioned, hosting an event in person is strongly encouraged. And consider making your location of your event visible to prospective attendees on the Mobilize website, because people generally feel more comfortable when they know where an event's going to be before committing to attending it. Some of the events, if they don't mention the location until people register, I've noticed don't get as much registration until people actually change the setting to make it visible. And finally, if you're looking for a toolkit to host a get together, like some sort of guide on like give me steps A through Z, 1 through 30 on like hosting a get together, I've never done it before, we got you, right? We have a stellar volunteer team who put together a toolkit for hosting get togethers. I've just put that link in the chat. It's also in the Google Classroom, and you can reference it whenever you need to just walk yourself through how to host a get together. All right. Then like going forward, I'll just kind of briefly give you a look. The next module gets a little bit more advanced, and we ask you to run a protest. Think about that. That'll probably be requested to be done by the end of August, maybe early September. And Then at the very end, we ask you to start a resist pod, which is um, a uh, a group of two or three people that are um, sorry, that are committing to doing actions of lawful nonviolent civil resistance. So that's that. All right. So here we go. Getting closer to the main event, but we're not quite there yet. I just want to situate us as to kind of where we are in these last couple of episodes and where we're going. So here we are. I'm looking at the screen. This week, we're doing digital hubs using Discord to cultivate a community, right? We're going to have two topics, getting started with Discord and voices from the server, right? So we're going to have actual voices from the server who are coming in today. And we're also going to have just a moment to reflect later in the episode about what's coming next, which is crossing the threshold to hosting a get together. We're going to have an expert organizer talk to you about just what it's like to host a get together, which is going to be amazing. His name's Ben, and then we're going to have another expert activist talk about using Mobilize, which you have the access to. And last week we heard from Paul Vonderhaar and Jeff Ordauer about building power through organizing and resistance in practice. So, what are we doing today? In addition to those topics that I just mentioned, we're going to have a Q&A with our first speaker. We're going to have a breakout group where you're going to be asked to do some sort of activity. I think it'll be kind of fun. And then we're going to do a Mentimeter following that, which is just like an interactive exercise to bubble up some of your ideas and thoughts in like a visual way. Then we'll do a panel, as I mentioned. We'll follow that with a breakout group and a Mentimeter. And then finally, we'll do a closing. So kind of similar format that we've used in past webinars. No huge surprises. Let me now check to see if our first speaker is ready. Give me a thumbs up, Jay, if you feel ready. Okay, good. Then I will now introduce our first speaker. JE, whose pronouns are they, them. Jay is an experienced moderator with Discord servers. We're very lucky to have Jay here tonight. Jay started as a Discord moderator for the DNC National Harris Waltz Discord server in fall of last year, which had 30,000 users at its peak. To give you a reference point, the Resist Trump campaign has 360 users currently. So we're not there yet, but we're getting there slowly every day.
Yeah.
Jay has since expanded to support the Discord server for 5051's national group, and that server has around 18,000 users. Jay is also a moderator with the Resist Trump campaign server, and their passion is media literacy outreach and the inclusion of digital engagement as a method for educating and creating change. Jay, I'm going to set up a timer in a separate screen for about 15 minutes. And at the 15-minute mark, I might just give you a what's up. I might come on voice. But until then, I'll be off voice. And if you need me for anything, just let me know. Does that sound good?
It sounds great. I have mine. I'm about to start my timer here too. So thank you.
Awesome. Sure.
Well, thank you very much for being here today. I'm very honored to talk about this. So, um, I love Discord. I actually didn't have much experience with it prior to August of 2024 because I'm not a gamer or anything like that. But I found that I really like the experience of having all these different topics to really talk about. And one thing that impressed me about the Resist Trump server in particular is the depth of discourse and the fact that it's a really great place to share resources and to engage in discussion. So that's primarily why digital spaces are important for activism. And it's also why having knowledge of how Discord works and proper posting etiquette and proper, placement of posts and things like that is important. So with this being an introduction, Basically, we're going to focus on online safety, meaning how to set up a profile so that it is secure and that you give information that's relevant, but not too much information. Because you don't want to give too much personal information, but you want to give information that is engaging and that is reflective of, things that you're interested in and stuff that you want to share with your community. So, um, on that note, the first thing to think about is what name do you want to pick to share? Do you want it to be part of your name, your full name, your nickname, something of that nature? So that's the first thing to think about is to select your display name. And then also you want to select your username. Um, and then you'll also want to um, tie both of those to either an email or a phone number and a cell phone, and that's partly for security as well. Now, with security in mind, you may not want to tie it to something with your real name or real photo. So again, that's up to you. But just be aware that you might want to set up separate email or a Google Voice number instead of your real cell phone number, for example. So those are things to consider when you set up your profile. Um, and then also, of course, your profile photo may not may not be your actual image. It could be another type of image that like an avatar or a pet photo or something that identifies you. And again, these are just choices related to online safety. So it's just things to be aware of when you engage. Um, Now, when you set up your profile, you'll also have the opportunity to write something about yourself. So I would recommend maybe a quote that inspires you or topics that you're interested in or something of that nature. A lot of times people don't um, write very much on there, but I think it's important to, write something on your profile that describes what you're about. Maybe other topics that you're interested in, or if there is something public that you want to promote that's not sales related, so it wouldn't be like against the rules, then you can put that on there. And the reason that I recommend that is because that will give people something to talk to you about, when they check out your profile and what you've posted, and they will give them something that they can interact with you about. So, um, basically, once you create your profile, then you'll be able to um, join the server, and you'll have to go through the process of reading and agreeing to the rules and all of that. And then once you're there, you'll have the opportunity to post an introduction. And that's very important, to introduce yourself properly and also to take a look at the different channels that are available and the different topics that are available to find out about and engage in. And so basically, once you do that, then you'll be thinking about, let's say that you joined the server because you wanted to announce your event because to kind of go along with what Nev was saying earlier, you have an event that you're trying to promote and you want to promote that event. Well, in this case, there is a place to post those types of things, but you want to be sure to post appropriately. And one of the ways that you can post appropriately is to make sure that you put the post in the correct place and that you also phrase it in such a way that if you're going to use a tag, that you use the correct tag. And the reason that you would use a tag is basically to ping so that you get so that you're able to direct attention to that post. And you want to be sure to use that selectively. And also be aware of like the hour um, in which you're using that, because you don't want to, use it at the wrong time. But what I do is, if I'm crafting a post and I know that it's probably not the right time to add the tag, I'll go ahead and craft the post and then just go back and edit and add the tag later so that it pings at the appropriate hour, because I'm a night owl. So sometimes I write things later and I don't want to wake people up, but I do want to make sure that they see it. So that would be an example of using a tag. And for tags, you can do people in a particular area or people in a particular group. And you can also potentially tag individuals. But obviously, if you're new to the server, you wouldn't know who to tag. So that would be a note for later. But that's just an example of, it's a way of making an announcement so that you make sure that people are aware of something that is time sensitive, like an event announcement would be. So that's just an example. And let's see. So I'm trying to keep this basic because there's a lot more that I could say about Discord, but since we're focused on like promoting events and getting the word about your event out there, I'm trying to think of things that would be specific to that. So let's say you have questions about the topic of your event, or you have a particular thing that you're worried about and you want to get advice on. We have topic channels within Discord that you can go on there and you can say, at my event, this particular topic came up and I have a question about this particular issue and I need support. I need advice on how to have a conversation on this particular topic. Well, that's part of what the community exists for as well. So that's another example how, as an organizer of an event, that if you have something happen or you have something come up that you have a question about, you can come on to Discord and ask us about it. And we can give you resources on how to have that conversation or how to deal with that topic. So that's just an example of, online community support. And let's see if there's anything else. Okay. Well, I've only got a few minutes before I was going to try to do a little bit of interaction as far as describing more of the process. But I might want to summarize a little bit from my perspective on how Discord is different from other social media platforms that you may have encountered. Um, so a lot of it is similar because you do have the option to direct message people as long as they have that option turned on. Um, but you don't, a lot of times it is harder to follow threads because, unlike Facebook and Slack, um, at least in the text channels, uh, it doesn't allow for like nested replies as much. You do have a reply option though, and it is important to try to use that, and I can demonstrate that in the breakout sessions to kind of go through a few things on how to use the different screens. But that is a way of kind of keeping the thread together, but it still breaks it up on the screen. So that's just something to be aware of when you're trying to follow along in the conversation. Um, let's see. Um, there was anything else. that was basic. Let's see. I guess that's it for right now. Um, I'm sure there'll be something that'll come up during the breakout session, and maybe I can circle back if anybody else has any other questions regarding, just the basics of joining and having conversation and so forth. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. Sorry. Make sure that you sign up for and register with two-factor or multi-factor, meaning that you like I had made reference to earlier, that you needed to connect it to either your email or a phone number that is text capable. It doesn't have to be your actual phone number. It can be Google Voice, but that is important for security. So make sure that when you go through the setup process that you do that. And as far as the actual process, I will have slides with screenshots that are going to be sent out in the email on Monday. So if you're not familiar at all and you need step-by-step help, that will be available on Monday. Just check your email for those screenshots. Thank you.
Thanks, Jay. Were you going to do a walkthrough of Discord?
I can, yes, I can, absolutely. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to wait for the Q&A portion on that, but
No.
I can do that now.
Well, you got about 2 minutes. If you can do something in 2 minutes, that'd be great.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, my actual Discord app does not always like to cooperate, so I usually have to end up using the browser version.
We're good.
One moment. Thank you for your patience.
You can share your screen whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I will. I'll just give you an example of the layout here, since we're talking about how to join. So here you have your welcome channel, which is after you join, you'll see that. And you have the rules here, which you will agree to and acknowledge by emojis. And then you will see where you pick your chapter, which is either Austin or outside of Austin. You can choose your pronouns if you want to do that. Again, as you see here, it's pretty self-explanatory with announcements, welcome, resources. FAQ is important, so you definitely want to check that out. And also server suggestions. So if you have anything that you want to see added to the server, you can go there. And here is what I was talking about, where you will see things about specific projects that maybe you might have a question about, you want to get involved with. We have that here. We also have topics. So humor, of course, is always a popular one. So if you have any thoughts or questions related to these topics, or you just want to read what other people have written, um, there's that. We have issues, of course. Um, Small victories, that's one of my favorite ones. Kind of focus on good news. Visions is the same. Now, one thing that you may have noticed that you have a question about is that you may wonder about is we do have voice channels. So if you did want to actually speak to people, that is an option to do that within Discord. So it doesn't always have to be by text, but it usually is by text and links as far as communicating with people and sharing information. As you can see, if you're interested in a particular in-person chapter, we do have that. And we have the Resistance School,
Okay,
and we have, so basically that's the outline of the actual server.
awesome. Thank you so much, Jay. Really appreciate you walking through kind of the basics of how to think about being a Discord user in a safe way and showing people what the Discord server looks like. If people want to review the video after we release it this coming Monday, to kind of even take notes on some of the things that Jay said, I would definitely recommend it. But thank you so much, Jay, for uh, presenting to us tonight. I'm going to go ahead and now share my screen again, if that's okay, Jay. If,
Okay. I'm just going to show my profile real quick, but I can show it in the breakout. That's
okay.
fine.
Thank you again, Jay.
No problem.
All right. So what we have here again is a opportunity to receive questions from the audience. If anyone has any about Discord, we've got Jay, who's an expert moderator. I'm kind of a beginning moderator, and so is Tracy. So if you have any questions about Discord, now is a really, really, really good time to ask them by using the Q&A function in the chat or in your Zoom panel. If you can find it on your Zoom panel, there should be a button that says Q&A under More on the right-hand side of your panel. I don't see any questions coming in yet, so I've got one quick question for you, Jay. What is the magic of Discord about?
Personally, I think it brings together people that have common goals, which you could say that pretty much about any social media platform, but what I like about it is that it's kind of like you have to join by invitation. And so if you feel like you have an invitation and you get you get welcomed into a particular space, it's kind of like, oh, I'm part of a special team now, you know. And so I think that to me is how Discord is different from other platforms, because other platforms are just kind of open to the public quite a bit. And this is more secure in a broad sense, and more focused on a particular topic than, say, a Facebook group or an Instagram channel or something of that nature about the same topic. Not that those groups are not important as well, because they are. But to me, Discord is focused. It's about like work and project building and stuff like that. So
Great. One last question. How does Discord security compare to something like Signal?
Signal is better in the sense that it allows for you to set option to erase the messages. For it allows you to set more it allows you to encrypt
Mhm.
things, whereas Discord is less secure in that respect, but you do still have more security measures on Discord than you would on TikTok, Instagram, Meta, Messenger. I mean, anything that is social media related, generally speaking, is not secure. And Discord is still not as secure, but I would argue that it is basically the starting place for
Mhm.
security. And there's a whole lot that I could go into related to security. I couldn't cover that because this needs to be basic, but pretty much I'll just say this: 5051 starts on Discord, and then they pretty much move everything over to Signal. They have the opening discussions on Discord to kind of connect everything, and then once you actually get involved in the project work, then you move over to Signal and you actually do the organizing work on Signal or someplace like Matrix. So,
Great.
yeah, that's pretty much the answer.
Yeah, that really matches what we do with Resist Austin, which is, affiliated with the Resist Trump campaign and based in Austin. In that, Discord is I think the question is really about privacy, and your conversations on Discord are like made almost in public. I mean, you need to be inside the server to make them, but they're, being broadcast to however many people are on the server. Whereas with Signal, you have more control over privacy because A, it's encrypted, B, the groups can be smaller, and C, the groups can be set to disappearing after like some number of days or weeks or whatever. So yeah, I think I'm very how should I say, pleased to hear that the practices that some 5051 organizers use are very similar to those that are being used by Resist Austin as well.
Yeah, and they recommend that, just to kind of tie it back to my earlier topic, they actually recommend that you change your name, your number, anything that's associated to your account, that you change that on a regular basis, including like your passwords and stuff. So just that's part of what will be on the slides, is all of the operational security procedures that they do recommend for any account, just to make sure that you're not disclosing too much information, and that you're not leaving yourself open to being vulnerable. So, yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thanks again, Jay. That was great. Really appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us tonight and your experiences. We're going to move into a breakout group, and we have facilitators to help you with that conversation. The breakout group is going to ask you to actually join the Resist Trump campaign Discord, which I'll put the instructions for how to join in the chat. There's a specific link for joining that you can find on the Resist Trump campaign website. So let me go ahead and put those instructions in the chat. So the two tasks that you'll be tasked to do for the next 10 minutes will be to join the Resist Trump campaign Discord. And then if you do that, find the channel for episode 3, and then post a short message in that channel, including your name, geographic area, and or what brought you here. Welcome back. I will now do a Menti exercise where we're going to talk about what your first experience with Discord was like. Maybe this was your first experience. Maybe this was your 10th or 100th experience. But if you can go back to when your first experience with Discord was like, we want to know what word or phrase describes that. So we're going to open up the Menti for today's episode. Menti is an app that we've used in this space before. We're going to ask you to take out your phone or another device, or in another open browser window, go to the website menti.com. That's menti.com, and enter the code that's at the top of the screen that I'm sharing, which is 4266 6058. I'm going to do the same thing right now. 4266 6058. I just joined, and I'm going to answer the question of what's the word or phrase that describes your first experience with Discord. So we've got crazy, chaotic, overwhelmed. Anyone else got some questions? Good grief. Discord is quite wild. So keep those responses coming. Bit of a learning curve. I'm a hands-on visual learner, but I'll get there. I love the positivity. That's important to have in a place like Discord, which can be pretty wild and unruly for those who are not used to that kind of interface. Very important. Okay, So lots of different reactions: stressful, shaking, overwhelming. I mean, it's good to actually hear some of these responses to your first experience on Discord. And yet, right, and yet it's massively popular. So it may be worth getting through that initial discomfort to learn and become comfortable with it. Some people are saying open to learning about Discord. Very easy to do. So thank you for that. I'm going to now go back to our slides and go to the next slide and the next portion of our conversation tonight. We are running a little bit behind. I'm not going to constrain the upcoming panel at all. I'm just going to let people know that we may extend a little bit past 8:30 tonight. So just kind of be prepared for that. And we'll just go until probably 8:45 Central Time. So next we have a panel discussion called Voices from the Resist Trump Campaign Discord server. We're very lucky to have Sortedly Speaking as our panel moderator. Sortedly Speaking is also a Discord moderator on the Resist Trump campaign. And in terms of background, Sorty is a community facilitator, a gamer, and a digital organizer who blends passion for inclusive spaces with hands-on experience in moderating Discord servers and hosting streams on the website Twitch. She supports grassroots movements and online communities by building secure, welcoming environments that prioritize safety, accessibility, and collective joy. Whether she's managing community guidelines, coordinating mutual aid, or streaming video games, Andrea brings a thoughtful, equity-focused approach to digital spaces that encourage connection, accountability, and play. Sorty, thank you so much for moderating today's panel discussion. The floor is now yours.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for being here. I am so lucky to be able to participate in this panel discussion. I just wanted to go back to the basics real quick and remind everybody that Discord actually has come a long way. So where did we start? Discord was actually developed a very long time ago to assist with communication, specifically in video games. So there'd be so many video games that people would join, and because of the in-game communication style, or there not being a lobby for people to communicate, there was a lack of strategy, a lack of organization. Does that sound familiar? So Discord has always been such a amazing instrument that people have been able to use and get the W or the win. Can I get hearts in the chat for all of my gamers? Knew y'all were there. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm super glad that you guys are here to learn about how you guys can create your own inclusive spaces. I wanted to talk a little bit to our panel members and just kind of ask them for a brief introduction about themselves, and to ask them how long they've been using Discord. So we'll go ahead and start with Jay.
Oh,
Thank you.
Jay's actually not a panel member for this panel.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Never mind then.
Sorry, it's a little confusing because we're all of us are on stage, so I know our panel members, just so you know, Sorty, are Michael W,
Okay.
Stephanie, and Ash.
Okay. Well, we'll start with Mike then. Sorry, Jay. Next time, though.
Sorry, Jay.
Hey everyone, I'm Michael. I started using Discord pretty much for organizing, not exactly this, but similar to this back in college. We actually had there's kind of a look of like, on our college campus, like we're kind of looking to like organize kind of a group for people who were kind of interested in maybe like esports or general gaming. And so Discord kind of became our way to organize, of course there was it all started with a big in-person meeting, but from there, everyone kind of communicated through Discord. Eventually, the server grows, you get more and more people involved, you get more and more different interests, you get more channels, you have moderators come on, you start adding more and more different rules. And so now something like that, like, I don't know, it's probably got like a couple hundred active people on it now, but it's just such a helpful tool for just, it's so easy to jump on. And it's also something that's very easy to moderate. It's very easy to add like add-ons and like helpful little bots to like, try and filter messages or add nice little tools to it. It's just such an easy platform to join, as well as just create new servers and new discussion channels.
Thank you so much. Ash, did you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how long you've been using Discord?
Sure. Hi, I'm Ash. My picture is a big water snake, sorry. Um, I actually used to use Discord just kind of like for keeping in touch with people, like general. I was never in a server until this year, and now I'm in like seven. So it's been interesting, and I kind of like how some of it's set up, and of course, some of it is a little hard to navigate. But once I got the hang of it, it's actually pretty cool. I like using it. Um, I'm in like two servers that just keep track of news type articles. And I do like that the Resist Austin has the good news section. So when I need a pick me up, I can just go there and get some good news.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And other Mike or Mike too.
Oh, sorry.
And
The panelist is actually Stephanie, and it's a very confusing, sortie, and I
oh,
apologize.
okay. No, it's
Mike
okay.
is one of our brave breakout room facilitators, and probably is not ready to be a panelist right now.
It's okay. Oh, okay, fine. That's fine. That's fine. Awesome. Okay, well, I just wanted to kind of share one of my most memorable moments with Discord, and I think it really just changed my whole brain chemistry. And that was when my community, my huge community, would get together and we would actually watch movies in my Discord, specifically horror movies. So we got to hear everybody's reactions and we were able to communicate throughout the movie, and just have a whole lot of fun in doing that. So I just that to me is a very special memory that I'm always going to keep with me, and I hope that you guys are all able to get a little piece of that magic in your own servers. So um, would also would like to talk to the panelists about what brought them specifically to the Resist Trump Discord. How did we get here? How did you learn about it? We'll go ahead and start with Mike.
I just want to also recognize that Stephanie is a panelist tonight that hasn't been recognized yet, sortie.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you said Stephanie was not able to, but
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Stephanie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been using Discord?
Uh, there we go. No worries. Hi, guys. I kind of the same thing as Ash. I use it for like texting with family. And recently, I just started in April with the Resist Austin group.
Okay, awesome. Can you tell us how you came to the Discord specifically for the Resist Trump server?
Yes. So it was at the first Tesla takedown that I went to in North Austin. Somebody was walking around with a clipboard gathering emails. So I just signed up that way.
Okay, and were you able to like get in immediately, or were you
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
stopped by the wall of text, or?
No, it was pretty immediate to get in.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And we'll go ahead and we'll ask Michael how he got to the Resist Trump Discord.
I think it was back when I first heard about Resist Trump. It was at one of the Capitol protests, and there's a Resist Trump booth, and they mentioned Tesla takedowns, and I thought, what, should be shown up for more than just like the bi-monthly Capitol protest, and just having the Discord there made it very easy, just because this immediate you have this immediate channel of communication right there where bam, 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 you can see all the information, you're not, no, you don't need to, you don't all of a sudden start getting email newsletters every couple days and you have to dig back through them. Just being able to look through the Discord and just immediately see the history. It was like, oh, okay, I can see, you can see what people are planning. You can see when they're planning it. So it's just a very easy way to get involved, I'd say.
So much for sharing. Ash, do you want to tell us how you crash landed into the server?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember specifics, but I'm pretty sure I connected to Resist Austin by volunteering for the Hands Off organization. And then I just kind of connected with someone who connected me with Resist Austin. But yeah, I joined because I wanted to help support the cause.
Fantastic. And since I have you here, we'll go ahead and we'll start on the last piece of discussion that we were going to have since we are at 5 minutes. I wanted to ask what is your favorite Discord tip, or what is one thing you wish you knew when you first started with Discord?
Actually, I really wish I would have known, and I'm sorry, I'm answering this backwards. I wish I would have known that I can mute the notification for a time limit, so that way I could not have to worry about turning on Do Not Disturb on my phone at night. And I'm sorry, what was the other question?
Oh, just what your favorite tip is for Discord.
Um, I guess I'd have to say it's being able to mute the notifications, especially in this busy, busy time. I mean, I had so many notifications. Um, but I guess I would probably watch a basic how-to video if you've never used Discord before. So you can have a visual in your mind of what you may be looking at.
Thank you so much, Ash. I sincerely appreciate it. Stephanie, can you tell us about possibly your favorite tip or just something that you really wish you knew when you first started with Discord?
Yes. So it's going to sound silly, but finding the threads for like the protest committee and the outreach committee, I didn't know how to find that for a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like there's sometimes there's like a faux pas for posting in the wrong channels. And I've been very lucky that I've been in servers where that hasn't been a big deal and people are pretty graceful about it. And so thank you so much for sharing. And Mike, what is your favorite Discord tip or something you wish you knew when you first started?
Definitely muting. So because there's so many channels in our server, along with a bunch of other servers, you want to quickly kind of figure out what you always want to get notified for. So, I mean, on desktop, it's a little bit, there's a lot of different levels of notification, which might be a little bit tricky, but just from a phone level, just being able to decide, maybe like, for example, I'm always want to get updates on the Defend Harvard campaign because I'm, part of that weekly meeting. I want to get all those notifications, but maybe I don't want to get everything from protest committee. So just being able to manage channel by channel, if you're going to be getting every single notification and, maybe you're in a bad mood about a certain topic and you want to temporarily mute a channel, just, being able to just zone out and turn that off for a little bit.
I think that you bring up a really critical piece of self-care. What I'm hearing from a lot of the panelists is being able to take a breather, being able to mute, or being able to take back some of the autonomy in terms of what you have the emotional labor to deal with at that moment, perhaps. So thank you so much for sharing. I will say that my number one tip is also to figure out which servers you want which notifications implicitly, and that each server has its own notification settings. So there are servers that I will only go in there if somebody mentions my name specifically. And there are some servers that I want to know every single thing that happens. So I think that it is accessible in that way. And I would invite everybody to figure out what it is that they feel is important and what it is they feel can wait until later. So with that being said, I think I made up some of that time for you, Nev.
Wow, I feel like that's amazing. That's the one thing that it's like magic when someone does that. I just want to thank you so much, Sorty, for leading this panel discussion, and thank the panelists as well, Stephanie, Ash, Michael, for joining us tonight. Your, experiences and perspective are instrumental in helping to extend this movement and help people connect with other people in online spaces like Discord, which are going to be so, and which already are so critical for this movement's success. So thank all four of you for participating in tonight's panel discussion. What we're going to do now, folks, is going to be another breakout room. So give me a second to pull up my trusty presentation and we will get that going. All right. Thanks again. We're going to do a breakout group where you're going to be in the same group you were in prior, but asked a slightly different question, which is what is a category or channel where you would like to hang out or, write text or respond to text on the server? And discuss with your group, if you have time, what drew you to this and how you might contribute to that area of the Resist Trump campaign's server. But thank you all for engaging in that conversation. Mike Ignatowski, how did your breakout room go on your side?
We had a little bit of discussion. We had a couple people in the room who still have not been able to get onto Discord. So I went through, did a screen share of all the topics and mentioned the ones that were interesting to me. And I think the general consensus was that was a really good introduction. It kind of gives people an incentive to go back and go through the final steps of getting onto Discord.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for leading that discussion. I'm gonna share my screen now and move over to our next Menti question. And if you don't have an answer yet, that's fine. Some people still haven't gotten on the server. It sounds like people are having a little bit of trouble, and that's normal with Discord. Like it can be sometimes a somewhat friction involved situation getting on Discord, especially because we've put security precautions like requiring phone verification for users so that we get fewer bots, trolls, and bad actors. So we're going to go to Menti. And if you have an answer to this, feel free to drop it in. Let's go over to Menti again and do a little Menti exercise where we ask everyone here, where do you see yourself hanging out on the Resist Trump campaign Discord server? You can go to menti.com. I sound like an advertisement, don't I? Menti.com. Use vote code 426666058. Or if you have that screen open on your phone, it may have already switched over to the page. So I'm going to write in my answer that I know some of the people in my breakout group already heard. So for me, it's the resistance phenomena category, where there's a lot of different channels that relate to phenomena regarding resistance. Looks like we've got some people who are interested in Resist Austin. Maybe they are based in Central Texas, or maybe they want to just learn from how Resist Austin is learning to operate. I love checking everything out. I love hearing that. Resist Austin and related threads. We've got lurking is fun. Notice we have like 360 users on our server, but like maybe like 20% at max are regular users. So like, people are watching and it's important to be aware of that. Taking advantage of the all you can eat option, Tesla Takedown. We love that channel. Sharing resources, marketing channel, Tesla Takedown, and the Resist Austin the most. I love it. Thanks for engaging in that exercise, y'all. Let's go back now to our slides, and we're really nearing the end of this conversation. So I wanted to share with you a few things about our upcoming episodes, and in particular, before we get there, our learning community. So it doesn't stop with this webinar. You can continue the learning on Google Classroom, in the Leadership Lab, and in the Discord learning circles that are going on. I want to show you Google Classroom because that's really a critical place where you can extend your learning and engage with other learners who are doing this course either now or later. You can go to our Discord, excuse me, our Google Classroom, which is how to become a leader in the Trump resistance. The best way to, sorry, I'm just going to check for that window to see if I can put it in the chat. I think I may have lost it. It's fine. The best way to join would be to use the link that we share in a number of different places, both in the recording description on YouTube, as well as in the email that gets sent on Mondays. And I've just put in the chat the same link to join the classroom. In this classroom, you can find reflective assignments for each episode that ask you to kind of think about what you heard. We don't have any for Discord because we know that it was a lot. I might put some up tomorrow. But we also have that major assignment coming up, as well as the toolkits and tutorials like the Google Doc that I put in the chat earlier to help you with that assignment of creating and running an event on Mobilize, which will be a get together. That will be the assignment. The way to submit your reflection is just to go into there and then view the instructions, and then it'll give you a link in your own student portal to do that. And this is all free, y'all. So we're not charging at all for this. The Google Classroom is freely accessible, and we encourage you to engage there. So let me just double check if I can pull up the link. And I think I can do that by looking at presenter view again. Yeah, I can. I'll share a few links with you, and these are the same links that you can pull up if you use your phone to examine the QR codes that are on the screen. Let me just drop those links in the chat. And now you have the links to the Google Classroom, the Leadership Lab, which happens on Tuesday nights. And by the way, it's a great place to learn on Tuesday nights. If you're interested in extending your learning and being a part of this community, almost like a TA, where you become a breakout room facilitator. All of our breakout room facilitators are learners in the course themselves. So feel free to engage in that way. And then if you want to extend your learning even further, you can set up a learning circle in Discord. We have dedicated channels for you to engage, like maybe form like a little pod of learners on the way. All right. And then next week, we have Crossing the Threshold, hosting a get-together. We're going to go deep on hosting a get-together with all of you. We have two really great speakers. Ben Sadin, who's a community organizer with Ground Game Texas, is going to talk about some really interesting stuff about group dynamics from the perspective of just hosting a get-together. And he's probably hosted like hundreds in his life. He's a community organizer. So I think he's going to bring a lot of really interesting experience. And then we have Lucy Frost, who's a board member with a local coalition called Hands Off Central Texas, and she manages the Mobilize account for them. I mean, they've had events where they've had not members come or attendees come in the tens, not the hundreds, but the thousands. So she has a lot of experience with Mobilize that she can share for your event that you're going to host a get together where, maybe for your first one, maybe 10 people register, maybe 5 people show up, but she's going to bring all of that experience to bear to make sure you're ready and prepared. Well, I think that covers the length of the webinar. You can see here that we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, Meetup, Blue Sky, and the web. Thank you all so much for attending tonight. And thank you especially our speakers, starting with Jay, Sortedly Speaking, our panelists, Michael, Ash, and Stephanie, our breakout room facilitator, Mike, and last but not least, my co-moderator, Tracy. Thank you, Tracy. Do you have any final words to say, Tracy?
I think that this has been a lot of fun, and I love teaching and letting people know how to join us and get involved and all that stuff. So it's been a lot of fun. And if you can get into the Discord, then there's a whole lot more help once you get in. And if you need help getting in, if you haven't been able to, please reach out on one of those platforms, and we will be happy to help you get going. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks again, y'all. I know that tonight the bill passed and it's a somber night for most of us, but nonviolent civil resistance is a tried and true methodology to counter authoritarianism. And we just need to build this movement day by day, brick by brick, relationship by relationship, Discord experience by Discord experience. So thank you all for coming and have a great night.